melody of my soul, the melody of my mind, the language of my being, the melody of my soul, Hello everyone, you're welcome back to our YouTube channel. How are you? Trust you're keeping well. If you're a new subscriber here, you're welcome. This is EY Trudy and my name is Eya. So the channel is focused on wellness and the world around you. We focus on financial wellness, your mental wellness, your well-being generally, and also the world around you. Okay, so today I was just thinking into the future. I was just being imaginative as well. And I'm just wondering, the world we are going to live in by 2030, are we even prepared for that world? So, on the topic of the world around you, so today we want to even look at the world in 2030, considering the AI revolution and how we are going to prepare for this and how we are going to survive it. Okay, so we are going to be looking at 10 AI revolutions just now and how we can prepare to survive those revolutions, because it's going to have like a direct impact on us as well. So as always, you know how we do it here. If you're already old in this channel, you know, grab your cup of tea, let's have this chat, okay? And feel at home, relax. It's going to be a bit of a serious one today. Just like I would say, if you go back to 4 years ago, that was, this is 2026, 4 years ago would be 2022. You would be like, so much has happened already. And when we want to talk about 2030 just now, it sounds like, oh, it's far away. Doesn't it sound like it's far away? 4 whole years away from now. It does. But it is basically tomorrow, my dear. And just like 4 years ago sounded like far away as well, as at 2022, we didn't have ChatGPT. Look how much things has changed from 2022 till now. Imagine the rate of the acceleration and the compounding changes that has now happened just within 4 years from the introduction of ChatGPT and all of that AI. So right now in 2026, we are still mostly kind of using AI as maybe like an app. We open the app, we give it like a prompt, it gives us like an answer. But that's going to change in the future. So by 2030, that dynamics will shift entirely. What happens is that AI will stop being like a tool that just holds in like your hand and is going to now move up and become like an invisible layer that sits on top of your own reality. And what this means is that we are moving from maybe chatbots era into something I would describe as agentic era. Agents. Agents would not wait for your prompt to ask them to do something. They will proactively pursue goals on your behalf. So today, we are going to map out 10 most significant ways that this shift would be redefining the human experience by 2030. From maybe even like how you learn to stay healthy, or from even how you work, and from even how you define creativity and patterns as well around creativity. Most importantly, this isn't just like a prediction list, like predicting the future. For every major shift that is going to be happening, I'm going to give you like a suggestion of a practical preparation guide. It's only a suggestion because no one can really give 100% a preparation guide. But these concrete steps would mean that if you take them right now, so that by that 2030, you are just not being replaced by this technology, which is like AI. You are going to also be leveraging it and just also be benefiting from it. So let's dive in. So the first section of this kind of talk would be what I describe as the personal revolution. And this will be happening in the health, it's going to be happening in education, it's going to also be happening in your daily life, how AI would be impacting those areas and how it will be changing them by 2030. So now, there is something called the futuristic classroom or the learning interface. So learning as you know it will be changing. The first major shift will happen inside your home and inside your own head. Okay, so it's like hyper personalized education. So let's do this. What is education just now? Going to the university, sitting in classrooms, doing assignments, doing exams. That industrial model of education, 30 kids in the room, learning the same thing at the same speed, at the same time, will look like an archaic mode of learning by 2030. What would happen is that we are going to see like a wide spread of adoption of AI tutors. And it would be like, imagine like a tutor that knows you exactly, knows your learning style, already understand your mode, your mode of learning and your best approach to learning, knows when to detect that you're getting frustrated by the tone of your voice, and maybe even instantly we switch the teaching strategy from maybe like a visual one to maybe like an auditory one to help you understand what they are trying to teach you. So simply put, it's going to be like a personalized learning experience whereby you would train an AI agent to teach you to become your personalized tutor. So this isn't just about kids as well. This is even about a lifelong learning for everyone. You want to learn maybe like quantum, maybe like physics just now at the age of 50. Your AI tutor will then maybe articulate a path that will be based on your own existing knowledge, okay? And it will also demonstrate like a kind of elite level tutoring, like globally as well. Like what this means is that it would gather information about you and gather this quantum physics knowledge to be tailored to your own understanding, your own style of learning. So this is going to be happening by 2030. Classroom as you know it would be gone. So now the other trend that would happen is also in the healthcare. And this is what is called the predictive healthcare. You know, like at the moment, healthcare is more like responsive. Medicine responds when you're already sick. But AI is going to be changing that, and healthcare is going to be more of predictive. So medicine today is more of reactive, okay? You feel sick, you go to the doctor will kind of fix your illness. But by 2030, healthcare will become predictive and proactive. AI will constantly analyze data streamed from all the wearables that we are already wearing and continue to wear. Your smartwatches that measures everything, cut across your heart rate, your blood pressure, your environment. AI, the wearables also measures your environment. And they will also carefully study your own genes that makes you who you are and put those data together. It won't just tell you like your heart rate is this. It will just synchronize that information, that data, and tell you based on your genetic markers and your sleep pattern this week, your inflammation level will be rising. Here is a modified diet plan for the next 3 days to prevent an onset of disease. That's the approach that will be happening by 2030. We are talking about catching something like cancer at stage 0 before it even ever starts. because it will monitor the stress factors, it will monitor the gene and everything. Before even inflammation happens, it has already kind of placed you on a dieting plan that will prevent that. So that will be happening by 2030. And the other one that we would see, like the trend number 3 that we are going to be seeing as well, is the rise in digital co-pilots. That's like AI agents. And finally, in the personal sphere, we have to now say goodbye to Siri as we know her. Siri, turn on the curtain. You know, by 2030, you will have to personalize your own AI agent. They will be like the chief of staff for your life or for your home or for anything around you. This isn't just Alexa, set the timer. This is like an agent that has the permission to act on your behalf. You will tell your agent, my internet bill is too high. So the agent will then maybe call the internet provider on your behalf, navigate the phone tree, negotiate with human beings or another agent that will be working then with those company. Okay. Use your own tone of voice and get you a lower rate for your internet. So what you will see is that the agent does all of that in the background on your behalf and just sends you like a notification saying, Dawn, I have now saved you $40 a month on your internet. They will filter your emails. They will pre-plan your vacations based on your budget and your taste. And they will even manage your schedules. It's just like having a live-in or live-on personal assistant that knows you in and out. So, with all the changes that I've now said on our personal life, that will be happening on our personal lives, our health, our management of our personal being, our education, how then do we prepare this? Prepare for it. I would just say by simply becoming an adaptive human being. This is no time to be resistant to changes. Okay? I mean, it sounds great, but it also sounds a bit intrusive as well. Some people would not like the idea of AI invading their personal information. So how do we prepare for a world where AI knows your DNA and manages your schedule? How do you prepare for that? Like I said before, be adaptive to change. But more than that, audit your data privacy now. Data would be the oil well of the future. So if an AI is going to manage your life, it needs access to your life in the first instance. You would then need to decide today where your line is going to be. Start using privacy-focused browsers from today. If you're browsing, use a privacy-focused browser. Review the permissions on your apps, all the apps you have on your phone, on your laptop, or you work with, review the permissions. Because by 2030, your data would be the most valuable currency that you have. Don't just give it up, maybe give it away so cheaply. Understand the concept of data sovereignty and also understand that owning your own information portfolio is important. So, prioritize that. The second one would be to learn how to learn with AI. Don't be rejecting it, okay? Don't just use ChatGPT to write emails, use it to teach you like small things. But practically use it to teach yourself things. Maybe like today, pick a topic you know nothing about. Say something like 17th century economics. Ask an AI to explain it to you like you are a 12-year-old child trying to learn about 17th century economics. Then ask it to also write you a quiz that you're going to answer. And then after you had answered the quiz, the ones you got wrong, also ask AI to practically kind of reteach those sections. So kind of start actively to teach an AI to be like your practical learning guide and practical mentor in learning. Because new knowledge acquiring using AI too will be like a definite skills that you would need to survive by 2030. So that's about that. Check your data privacy and start learning with AI. Start teaching AI to learn with it. Now, the part 2 of this, we've talked about how it's going to impact us personally, our education, our health, and managing our schedule. The number 2 will be our work, the creative economy, and the general economy of the world. How would AI impact our jobs by 2030? Now let's talk about it, because this one is a huge one. Your job as you know it. I don't know what your job is, but the changes are here and it's going to be radical. So the number 4 trend here would be the autonomous transport and the death of ownership of cars. You know, at the moment, you buy a car and you will just run it yourself. But by 2030, in major cities around the world, major areas around the world, buying a car will seem like a financial irresponsible burden to carry. Why would you pay for a hunk of metal to maybe like sit in your garage, parked in your garage 95% of the time, and you don't even use it? Why would you even pay for that? By 2030, the leveling up would be like transportation as a service becomes so dominant. People would so welcome the idea of, say, for example, when you're ready for a walk or ready to go to work, you just summon a car. It arrives in 2 minutes, takes you to work, and moves to the next person. It would even go ahead to change the urban landscape. You see, all those big parking garages would now be maybe have to repurposed for maybe housing purposes. And traffic will be better managed, because if it is AI that is driving those cars, you can be sure that it will reduce fatalities on the road. And this will fundamentally alter the logistic economy by 2030. So that's a trend that we can keep an eye on. Owning a car the way we know it, the traditional way of buying cars and keeping in your home, would change. People will be using more of autonomous vehicles to transition to and fro to their places of engagement. And the trend number 1, the number 5 would be like the transition to agentic work. So what this means is that this is going to be the biggest one for professionals. So say, for example, today you are hired to do tax. You write maybe codes, you draft memos, and you design logos. Maybe that's your work. You are maybe like a user interface designer. But let me tell you something. By 2030, you will be hired only if you are then able to manage AI agents. So you are going to be hired because you have the ability to manage AI. So say, for example, the junior analyst role would be gone. Instead, a mid-level manager will be hired to direct kind of a swarm of specialized AI agents. So one would maybe gather market data, another one will analyze the competitors' sentiments, and the other one is going to be drafting the initial reports. These are AIs that will be doing the hard lifting, while we hire a mid-level manager just to manage those AI. So what this also means is that the human role would shift from creation to managing or curation strategy and maybe like ethical oversights. Okay. You become like a conductor and not the one that does the heavy lifting. So you coordinate AIs to do the heavy lifting of the job. So now learning to manage AI to execute a job to the end becomes a very needed skill for 2030 and into the future. And the other trend that AI is going to also be impacting heavily is the entertainment industry, the creative industry. So now, Hollywood, as we know it today, is going to change. We will be moving from mass production media to a hyper-personalized generative entertainment. So what do I mean by this? By 2030, the Netflix you know today won't just recommend movies to you. It might just generate one for you on the fly. Just say, for example, you will say something like, I want a 19th century style action thriller that is set in a cyberpunk Tokyo, starring a young Harrison Ford and maybe Jonah Cassidy. And then the AI will render this in minutes. The barrier to entering into the entertainment industry will be broken because anyone can now generate videos that are hyper personalized to what they want to watch. But the only challenge I also see there is that it would flood that industry with a lot of created AI contents, and that would mean there will be a lot of noise as well. Quality will become a thing of concern as well in the future with regards to the creative industry. So, how then do we prepare for these changes that AI is going to be bringing? How do we kind of future-proof your career just now? If AI is going to be changing your career, how do you stay relevant by 2030? So, if AI is going to be coding better than humans, if it's going to write it faster even, and if it's going to design it quicker than you, what's then left for you to do? What's then left? Well, there is still plenty that you can do, but you have to pivot. You have to be very proactive in your approach. So now, the first one I've already insinuated, but I'm going to repeat it just now. The first practical step would be for you to become an AI manager. So stop fearing AI taking your job and start practically being an AI boss. Whatever your field is, whether it is accounting, whether it is marketing, whether it is law, start experimenting with a multi-step AI workflow. Don't just ask one thing. Don't just ask AI one thing. Learn like a chain of prompts together. Learn to kind of even create a chain of prompts. Say, first AI do X, and then use that output to do Y. Then critique your own work and learn the limitations of the current model. Because what happens is that the person who knows how to manage a team of AI agents is the person who is going to get the promotion in 2030, is the person who is going to be retaining the job in 2030, is the person who is going to be running the show and dictating the pace in 2030. So why don't you focus on creating prompts, training AI agents in your own field just now to do various tasks at the same time? So now, that would lead us to the practical step now for this section would be, the number 2 would be to double down on your human skills. So the more AI automates the technical skills, the more valuable the human skills, the human traits that are unique to humans would become. What AI can't do well in 2030 is those human skills. Say, for example, complex negotiation that involves emotional intelligence, maybe even ethical judgment calls in maybe a very gray area. Maybe an example again is maybe truly a conversation that is truly and deeply like that feels like empathy, maybe in healthcare leadership, like a job that requires a lot of empathy, or even strategic vision in, say, for example, knowing what problem to solve next, not just how to solve problem, because AI is more like what you prompt it, that's what it will focus on and give you. So being a strategic leader in the future, your professional development, or maybe even communication, leadership, and creative strategy. Okay, so you want to double down on your human skills, those things that AI cannot do. You want to enhance those skills with yourself and develop them more. Now, the other one would be the part 3, which is going to cut across the science, the security, and the planet. How AI is going to be impacting this area by 2030. So finally, AI will change the physical world like we know it, and the system that runs it as well. So trend number 7 would be like in agriculture and food security. AI would mean that we are going to be having kind of almost nearly 100% result in agriculture. Say, for example, we would need by 2030 to feed like 10 billion people without even destroying the planet. And AI is going to be the answer. Because right now, okay, we are moving to what I would describe as precision agriculture. AI-powered drones, and maybe even the grand robots that would monitor the crops on plant-by-plant basis. And it would not just go and spray insecticide all over the place, okay? Not spraying a whole field with pesticides, but just targeting a single weed that needs that pesticides, and maybe even giving an individual strawberry plant exactly the microliter of water it needs to thrive. This will drastically reduce the chemical runoffs that happens in our agriculture and even the water usage. And it will also maximize the yield in agriculture just now, especially even when the climate is unstable. So AI is going to be positively impacting food security and agriculture in the future by 2030. So now, that's a good one, really. There's going to be more affordable food in the future, so don't worry. Feeding is not one of our challenges. And the trend number 8 is the climate management and maybe the smart grids, the energy smart grids, okay? So I'm not very sure or clear on this, but I know that AI functions better sorry about that. AI functions better with predicting it, okay? So at the moment, I would say like the energy grids, okay? I don't want to describe them as dumb just now, but they can't handle fluctuation of winds and even solar so easily, okay? But AI would become like their brain box, the brain behind the global energy infrastructure. So it will predict energy demand even by milliseconds before it even happens. And it will then go on to kind of balance the renewable sources instantly across the smart grids. What this does is that it is an essential tool, okay, for even achieving the net zero target that we all have from trying to reduce the world emission. So AI is going to partner with the world towards achieving that. By 2030, this is already happening. And the other aspect, which I would call the trend number 9 just now, is what I would describe as accelerated scientific discovery. So right now, you know that before a scientific discovery is done, it takes a long time. It takes years. Even say, for example, medication. Before a medication is discovered just now, it takes years. This is perhaps the most exciting thing that AI is going to be helping humanity with. Okay? Science is quite slow. It takes years to find new materials for maybe like a better battery or a new molecule for a drug. AI changes that time scale of discovery. Okay? We are already seeing AI scientists that are kind of, they are able to kind of stimulate billions of chemical combination in weeks instead of decades. So what would happen in the future, not far-fetched, it's just 4 years from now, is that by 2030, we expect that AI is going to have helped scientists to crack the code on a viable solid state battery. Okay? And apart from that, again, it would also help scientists, a lot of them, to also find treatments for a very rare disease that in the past, maybe previously, it was maybe uneconomical to research. But because AI makes it a lot easier to research it just now, it would be helping with those research and finding a more effective combination of chemicals that would work on diseases that in the past it was kind of uneconomical to research the kind of the medication for the treatment. And number 10 would be the proactive cybersecurity and the arm race. This is a serious one, because but with every power, with every great power comes also a great peril or a great downfall. So the 10 major change that is going to happen is that the weaponization of AI will become a thing in the future. So cyber attacks by 2030 will be AI driven, self-evolving, and relentless. So a human security team cannot fight them. We will rely heavily on digital immune systems, defensive AI that patrols the network, detects like a novel threat that has not been seen before, and neutralizes them in maybe like milliseconds. We are entering an era whereby it is like an era of constant, invisible AI to AI warfare in the digital realm. This is going to be happening by 2030. It's happening that fast that all the cyber attacks, the neutralization is going to be AI to AI, and it is going to be that quick and that intense. So now, how do we, you and I, how do we prepare for this? Surviving these big shifts that is going to be happening both in agriculture, happening in science field, happening in even like cyber attacks. So these global shifts, I mean, like they feel like a little bit out of control, but I know they are going to be impacting our daily living. They impact us daily. So for this section, I would say the practical guide one would be maybe to practice what I describe as a radical digital hygiene. I've mentioned this before about data sensitivity. The era of using password 123 is over. If you aren't using a password manager just now and a multi-factor authentication on every device or everything you log into today, please just do it at the end of this video. Because by 2030, AI voice cloning will be perfect. You will not be able to even trust the person calling you in your own phone that this is your mom or this is your bank, because you would need to establish verification protocols for every person that phones you or with even your family members. Because a safe word that proves that it is really them that is phoning. It sounds paranoid. Yes, I do know. But by 2030, it will be like basic common sense. That when your mom phones you, you'll be like, Mom, is this you? You will now maybe speak a language that only yourself and your mom understands, and your mom will confirm that. Because simply by hearing that the voice sounded like your mom's voice does not mean it is your mom in 2030, because AI would have perfected voice cloning and someone can actually phone you. Okay? And the other thing you can do is just literacy. Don't stick your head in the sound, like hiding away, okay? The rate of change is going to be kind of intense. It would even shock the future. But in many cases, staying informed would also mean that you don't get carried away in the wrong way. So find credible tech scientists, not just the hype men. Understand the basics of these changes to the core. Understand the changes that are happening, understand why they are happening. Don't feel anxious about them. Be open to learning about AI, because this is the future. The agentic age is here and it has come to stay. And you cannot shy away from that because, oh, I don't like technology. Oh, I don't like using this. No, this is time to start learning about it. Be actively teaching yourself about the use of AI. So finally, to conclude this video, I would say, as always, the choice is yours and no pressures. No pressures from us. The choice is always yours, okay? How you go about preparing for 2030 and the revolutions that will come with AIs is entirely your choice. We have covered a lot, the hyper-personalized learning that would be happening, the predictive medicine that will be happening, the agentic work that will be happening in the future, and the accelerated science discoveries as well that will be happening. Okay? The world of 2030 is going to look radically different from the world we know today. And it is easy to look at this list and feel like, oh, you feel small. To feel like, oh, you are just going to be swept away by the tsunami of technology. I must tell you the truth. I feel same myself. I'm like, how am I going to catch up with all this? But hey, remember this. AI is a multiplier. It multiplies your competence and it multiplies also your incompetence. It also multiplies your intent. Just like with every computer, it is what you put in that you get. This is why prompting and prompt is very important. So if you remain passive, these changes would happen to you. But if you become active, if you start learning the tools, auditing your data, sharpening your human skills, and preparing your mindset, you will get to also ride with the waves. You are not going to be swallowed by it. The difference between disruption and being empowered by 2030 is the actions that you start taking from today. The difference between the career path you would find yourself by 2030 and the career path you have now is the actions you start taking today. So, my darling viewers, Thank you so much for taking the time, okay, to watch this video. In case you want to watch other of our videos, we have another video on the foundation of wellness, which you might be seeing somewhere on the screen just now. Okay, you can watch that to also understand the foundation of wellness. And thank you for watching this video. I believe you learned one or two on how AI is going to be changing the world as we know it. I would say that most of them is on the positive side. But more than anything, it requires you to be adaptive to change. It requires you to be open to change. It requires you to take some actions to prepare for the future that you and I are going to be living in. That being said, thank you so much for watching this video. If you have not subscribed, like you've watched it till now, please subscribe so that you become a part of our family, and when next we upload, you'll be the first to get notified. Okay, and if you liked this video, you can maybe give us a thumbs up, and you can also share a comment with ourselves how you feel like AI is going to be changing the world that we may have not covered here, because the changes are going to happen and it's already happening. So if I look back to 2022 and I look at 2026, there is so much that has happened in the forefront of technology and adoptions. And what we can say is that the future remains bright as always, and it's something we are hoping to embrace. So share your comments with ourselves, share this video with your friends, your family, so they too can hear about this and maybe prepare for the eventualities of the future. Okay, thank you for watching, and I do hope to see you in our next video just now. Thank you. Bye bye.